Hello there. I asked you to send in some questions because I wanted to do another Q&A. I try to do these like every 6 months to just have a little bit more of a personal chat and to just talk about some things that I usually don't really talk about in my like regular videos. So I thought, let's ask you what you want to know. So I did get some questions on Instagram. I also got some questions on my community posts on YouTube. I'm just first gonna go to Instagram and hope that I can still find the questions. Okay, here we are. Okay, this one I always get asked. So I already talked a little bit about this before. If you have followed me for a little bit longer, then you might already know this. But this one says, what do you work for your normal job? So my regular day job is being a database administrator, which is not a very glamorous job. But the thing that I love about it is that it's so far away from what I do like next to it, from my hobbies or from my YouTube, that it actually keeps me very well balanced. So if you don't know, a database administrator is someone who really makes sure that the database, everything around the data, so not the data itself, but everything around it works. So the backups can be made, restores can be done, like everything around the data runs smoothly. And it is basically just an IT job. I work from home a lot. I go to the office once a week. And my office is a little bit further away, but it's also because I moved like way across the country. I was like in the far east first, and now I'm far west in the country. But it's the Netherlands. Like it's a 1.5 hour drive between the places, but also because I am not like in the middle of a big city now, it's a little bit more work to get to like the train that I need to take. It takes a little bit longer, but yeah, basically I work in IT. I'm just on my computer all day having like Teams calls, and it's just in a way not a very creative job. But even though I'm a very creative person and I love creating, but I kind of tried to get into a more creative job before I rolled into this, and it just broke me inside. It was so stressful for me to be creative for other people. So I love this. It's a little bit more exact. Of course, there's creativity in kind of like problem solving with this job, but it's just a lot more exact, and it's a pretty chill job. I really enjoy my working environment. I really enjoy my job. I feel like it's a job where it's just very well balanced. My life is very well balanced. I can really combine one with the other. Alright, someone said, talk about the nail polishes you use since the beginning of the year. I'm still waiting for that video on YouTube. Okay, so at the start of the year, I said I want to do more nail polish content. I'm just a little bit unsure how I want to do that, and I'm also a little bit scared, I'm gonna be honest, to start doing that. Like doing new things on YouTube can sometimes be a little bit scary because you're also taking a risk, and what if nobody actually wants to see it? And also at the start of the year, I thought, okay, I would just do a monthly like nail polish diary, or like ranking the nail polishes that I've used. But I sometimes wear my nail polishes for up to 10 days, so that would be like 3 or 4 nail polishes to talk about, which would be a very short video. So I'm now thinking, because I have made clips of just the nail polish on my nails of I think every nail polish that I've worn this year so far. So I'm kind of thinking I will do it at the 6-month mark. I will do like a ranking of all of the nail polishes that I've worn this year so far. But yeah, I'm a little bit scared to get into it. I do get a lot of questions about my nail polish. I do get a lot of questions about my nails, and I get that, but in a way I'm a little bit insecure to really introduce that as a topic on my channel. So I feel like if I really start doing it, I might just find out that I actually enjoy doing it and I will do it more. But yeah, I've been thinking about it. I haven't forgotten about it, and there will be some sort of nail polish ranking video coming pretty soon. And I do want to do maybe some favorites videos of like my favorite nail polishes. But I don't really have the right setup. I don't really have the right space to film like application of nail polishes, and I also don't have clips of all of the nail polishes that I own and have worn on my nails. So I'm trying to be better at that. I'm sure at some point this ball will start rolling, and I get that you were waiting for it because I did say that. I think I'm gonna start out with that ranking video. That will be in a month or so. And then someone asked, what is your favorite color? Well, my favorite color is cornflower blue. It is just the right balance between like muted and bright, and blue and purple. I love colors that are kind of like a mix of things that are not really like just pure vibrancy, like one primary color. I love the mix, and I also just love cornflowers and seeing the light of the sun hit a cornflower. It just makes me think of spring. It's such a beautiful color. I love to wear it. It just has so many meanings to me. So yeah, I love cornflower blue. Like, I love blue, I love purple. I also do love pink, but cornflower blue, that will be my answer. Okay, then for the community post. By the way, before I did these Q&As while actually applying my makeup, but I just have decided that I find it a little bit difficult to really form my answers, because also English is not my first language, okay? Like, Dutch is my first language, and I do feel pretty confident speaking English, but I feel like it's easier when I'm talking about the thing that I'm doing, and if I have to like apply makeup while talking about something completely else, it's a little bit more difficult. So I'm hoping that this time around my answers will be a little bit more cohesive. With other Q&As afterward, I always felt like, what have I been saying? Alright, so the next question is, how do you manage what makeup you buy, and do you set a monthly budget? Also, what inspired you to start YouTube? So I'm not very structured with what makeup I buy, and I don't set a monthly budget. I kind of feel like in an ideal world I would do that, but I'm not really doing that. For me, it's more about finding the balance, and really at the end of the month I just kind of like see where I'm at with my finances, and if I feel like I've spent too much, then next month I will chill a little bit more with my makeup purchases. And I also just kind of like think back when I buy new things, what have I bought the week before and the week before that. Also, I just kind of look at my basket of like new makeup that I'm testing, and I see if it's kind of like still manageable. I can always like see it. It's always like out around and on my like desk where I film, or at my table where I film. So it's kind of like based on a feeling and trying to find a balance. And there's always the option, if there's a really busy month with a lot of releases, to buy a little less or buy less big collections, or not everything from a big collection the next month. So I'm always just kind of like trying to balance it out, just see where I'm at with my finances overall, and then see if I have some room to spend a little extra, or maybe have to like tone it down a little bit. But for me, it's really like, I want to make sure that I can pay for my house and my groceries, and I can like buy a few things, go out to dinner, maybe buy some new clothes, I don't know. And then when all that is done, I can buy my makeup, and then I just want to make sure that I still have a little bit left in a regular month, and then I put that on my like savings account, for example. But I just want to make sure that I have some left that I can put in my savings account, and as long as that happens, I know I'm pretty much on the right track. So yeah, not very structured. And the second part of the question was, why did I start YouTube? I've been into makeup since I was like 11, 12 years old. I've always been really into makeup. I even was kind of into makeup when I was a younger child, but it was more like dressing up as a fairy or as a witch or things like that. And it was more like makeup to become a character. But then I kind of got into these bigger like 60 pan, 30 pan palettes of like Claire's and things like that, and I just started applying makeup, and I was just a very girly girl. Then I really got into these beauty blogs, makeup blogs, mostly Dutch makeup blogs, and I also got into YouTube a little bit later, I think, than a lot of people that were into makeup at that time. But I was just really into like makeup reviews and watching makeup content and reading makeup content. And I'm just someone, if I enjoy something, then I want to make it as well. I just always want to create. So if I am so into something, I just want to be part of it. So I always felt like, okay, I want to do this. And at some point when I was like 18 years old, I had a beauty blog. Wasn't very successful. I wasn't very like structured with it. I didn't post a lot. And I just found out that it wasn't really for me. At the time I did one YouTube video, and it was really bad. It isn't up on YouTube anymore. I don't really count it anymore, but I did one video. It was actually a review of the Too Faced, what was it called? The chocolate bar palette. I got that because I graduated high school, and I did like a review of that palette, but the camera that I used was terrible, the lighting was terrible, I had no lighting basically, and just the whole background, everything was terrible. Like how I talked, how everything looked, it was just absolutely terrible. I have no idea how many views that video got. I took it off the internet because it was so bad. But I always felt like, okay, I want to do this, but then I went to university and I just had this whole other life going on. There was a lot going on. I didn't have any space or time to do this. And so I just put it on the back burner a little bit. It was always still in the back of my mind, and I was still consuming a lot of YouTube content, and I was buying makeup, definitely not as much as I am now. I was just buying a little bit of makeup once in a while, you know. It was a pretty small collection. I could fit it in one drawer, and I still had some extra room, so it wasn't too crazy at that time. And then me and my boyfriend, we started living together. We had a studio apartment, and we started this YouTube channel that was all about like things we learned at our studies and just science and explaining things and explaining sociology, because I studied sociology and I also studied philosophy, so we talked about like theories in our videos. So we bought a camera, we bought some lights, and I kind of learned how to edit videos because of that. Then we graduated, or he graduated, and we just kind of fell out of love with that idea. It was a little bit hard to do because also like you have to research a lot, and we didn't know like everything about everything. Of course we knew some things, but at some point you're kind of like done talking unless you bring in some other experts or bring in some other people to like add to the video topics. So we stopped doing that. We already had the equipment, and then of course it was 2020 and everybody was home, and I just felt like I could just start. It's not gonna be perfect. We're in a studio apartment, and my boyfriend will have to be quiet while I'm filming, and I don't have a studio that I can just let be. Like my camera was on the dinner table, I had to move it, I had to set everything up every time I went to film. So it wasn't ideal, but I thought everything I can do now is something that I've already done before the moment comes that is the ideal situation to like start YouTube and to start filming. So in a way I didn't really count it. It was kind of like the pre-YouTube era for me. Like I was already on YouTube, but it didn't really feel for me like this is gonna be it, this is gonna be what I'm doing. But I just already wanted to start because I've been waiting for so long to start this thing, and I already had the equipment. So I thought, okay, this is the moment. I'm gonna film a YouTube video. Also, I already had started a makeup Instagram. That was kind of like to dip my toes into beauty content creating once again. Like, how do I feel about it? Is this something that I can enjoy? And I actually grew my Instagram quite a bit. It was quite good at the beginning. Like after that, I was a little bit less serious about it, and I've been trying to pick that up a little bit. I feel like this is such a long story, but I also have some other videos where I explain a little bit more, but this really is just a background, like what was happening in 2020. So I just started, and it wasn't ideal, but I'm happy now that I did that, because like the really awkward years I feel like are behind me, and I could grow quite a bit in that time, and it gave me kind of like a step up now that I have my own studio, now that I am living in a house with actual like doors and separate rooms. So I'm glad that I did that, and I understand that I didn't really do it before. Sometimes I feel a bit like I was late to the party, but I'm happy with where I'm at right now. Okay, next question. What kind of activities bring you joy? Have there been any places that you visited that changed your perspective on the world? Who has made the biggest impact on your life and why? Fun one to throw in because my husband is Dutch and we visit the Netherlands twice a year. Are there any hidden treasure areas, buildings, stores, or places you would recommend to go check out? Okay, activities that I enjoy. I love walking, like going on a nice walk in nature. I love biking. I enjoy making dresses. I enjoy crochet. I enjoy just hanging around, chilling with my cat. I just love the outdoors, and I love being creative. That is kind of like what I do besides YouTube. I love eating as well. Like I'm quite a foodie. I've been getting a little bit more into cooking. I've been getting a little bit more into baking, but I think like going out to eat or going to like a nice brunch spot, I really enjoyed it as well. Have there been any places that you visited that changed your perspective on the world? So I went on an exchange when I was studying, and I went on an exchange to Vilnius, Lithuania, and there I lived in a dorm room with just multiple people in one room, and there was really no privacy. Like, we had shared bathrooms, we had shared bedrooms, and it just was very different for me, and I kind of feel like that did give me another idea of what I can handle when it comes to like luxury and like personal space. I do feel like I'm at the point now that I am very happy with the personal space that I have, and that I'm very happy that I have the luxuries that I have in my life. So I kind of feel like it maybe changed my perspective on myself and how I can deal with the world a little bit more. I don't feel like I can really think of something that has changed me as much. I kind of feel like it helped me understand that perspective is everything, and that you can enjoy something that is so far off from what you usually like do or enjoy by changing your perspective on it. Because I also feel like it would have been really easy to emphasize in my head how not luxurious it all was, how like kind of strange it all was, but I just did it. Like, the fact that I went is already something that's kind of crazy to me. I feel like that is probably the closest thing. It also feels a little bit like my life before I went to Lithuania and my life after were very different. But in a way, after that, I also had a long ways to go in like personal growth. And I feel like for me, personal growth is something very gradual. It takes a lot of time. Like, I do get there, but it takes some time. But I think it was important for me to experience that. Who has made the biggest impact on your life and why? It's a tough question to answer. I feel like for the first 19 years of my life, it definitely was my mom, and she really got me to a certain point, and she really made sure that through a lot of like hard things that happened, that I could still have like a pretty normal life. She made sure that none of it hit me too hard. So I feel like she protected me in a way that was very much necessary. I don't feel like she's a hovering parent or anything like that. She didn't hover over me. She did give me a lot of like confidence, and she really made sure that I figured things out for myself. So I feel like that is a very good thing. But there were just some things happening in my youth that created some issues later on that could have been way worse if my mom wasn't there like holding us all together. So I think that is one of the most important like impacts that someone had on me. Like, my youth was very much saved by my mom. And then after, I think it's definitely my boyfriend. I feel like he changed my perspective on the world. At first I was a little bit more sheltered, and I feel like sometimes I can still be a little bit sheltered and naive. But he did show me, and I think that's also just what happens when you're in a relationship with someone who has a very different home life and is from a very different environment. Like, we didn't have the same youth. Like, some things are a little similar, but we definitely didn't have the same youth, not the same type of parents, not the same type of culture at home. Also because he is Iranian and I am Dutch, so that's very different cultures. Like, with the Dutch, it's all like practicality and punctuality, and it's all very like almost unemotional, and like Iranians are more like dramatic. They feel more, they're just a little bit more out there with their feelings. It's of course not that all of the Dutch people are the same, all of the Iranian people are the same, but it's just kind of what it was for me. And I feel like he really showed me that there are other types of people out there, and he really showed me that there are things in life that I was kind of like avoiding, that I was scared of, that I didn't really need to be scared of. So I feel like from that point on, I could really start becoming more of an adult, and I feel like that helped me a lot in life to gain like confidence. That's a good question, a very deep question. I did my best to answer it. I do my best to answer it. I do feel like I want to say it well, but there's like so much you could possibly talk about here. So then we also had the one, any hidden treasure areas, buildings, stores, or places you would recommend to go check out. That's a tough one. I feel like living in a country, sometimes you kind of forget what is special or what other people might not know. Let me think about that. I don't really have a answer ready for you there. Okay, next one. If you could live anywhere else with no fear of making money, i.e. you are wealthy, where would you live? If you started a makeup brand, what would you release first? I bet lipstick. I don't know. Would I? And what would you not bother to release? For me, setting spray. Lol. So, if I could live anywhere else, I gotta say, I sometimes feel like I am the odd one out in absolutely loving living in the Netherlands. I think the Netherlands is a great place to live. Of course, it's not like always sunny, it's not always nice weather, but it is a nice place to live. Like, a lot of things are taken care of very well. The weather is nothing too crazy. Like, it's not too cold, it's not too hot. I don't like it when it's like 40 degrees Celsius out like almost every day of the summer. It's a little bit too much for me. I do love the Netherlands. Of course, we don't have any hills. It's a lot of flat land. We do have some old cities, but it's just in a very specific way. I do love living in the Netherlands. If I could live anywhere else, I think that's a pretty tough question. I feel like I wouldn't really want to do that at this point. But I think maybe I would go for France. I do enjoy France, I do enjoy Paris, and I think I wouldn't want to be too far away from the Netherlands. There's not really a place that comes to mind. Or maybe even Germany. I wouldn't mind living in Germany. Or maybe even Austria. They do have really beautiful like nature there and some really beautiful cities. I think before Brexit I would have said the UK. I don't know how I feel about that now, but I feel like I would probably stay in Europe because I do love it here. I'm familiar with it, and I kind of feel like I would have to go a place, and I haven't been outside of Europe. Like, I haven't traveled outside of Europe. I feel like I would have to have gone a place to be able to say if I could live there. So I think probably somewhere in Europe, but I couldn't really tell you what it would be. Like, I love Italy as well. Italy could be good, but it's also pretty hot there, and I don't want to go somewhere where it's too hot. So maybe like France or Germany. And then if I started to make a brand, what would I release first? I think actually it wouldn't be lipstick. I think I would actually start with a glowy baked blush. Like a very smooth glowy baked blush in like maybe 4 different shades. And I think I would maybe do something like a liquid lip balm. That could be good. But I'm thinking first like a blush highlighter hybrid and it's like super smooth. And I don't know, I don't think a lipstick first. I do love lipstick, but I also feel like there are so many lipsticks out there in the world. And there are so many colors out there in the world, and I have a lot of favorite formulas, but I kind of feel like with blush, there are some formulas that are just so like elevated, and then maybe they were limited edition or there was only one shade, and I could see myself creating something similar. Okay, so I'm a dummy because I forgot to film a segment of this Q&A. I promised you that I was gonna insert a segment here where I would talk about my skincare routine, and I filmed that segment and then I accidentally deleted it. So that didn't go as planned. So here I am. But before I get into that, I also forgot a part of this question. So I thought, okay, I will just insert Marley of the future here and just add some things. So part of this question was also, what wouldn't I bother to release? And I'm pretty sure it would be a setting powder. I do enjoy the existence of setting powders. I'm happy that they exist. I do use the Catrice All Matte Plus to just kind of like take away a little bit of shine from products that I use, but I do have dry skin. To me, a powder is just not very exciting, so I would probably not be doing that. Except maybe if it would be like a super nice, smooth baked powder that has a little bit of radiance, like a super natural highlight almost, like super natural. That could be, but I think like a mattifying setting powder, that wouldn't be it. Alright, so let's talk about my skincare routine. I just want to preface this by saying that I have always had pretty even skin. I haven't had a lot of issues with acne, but I do have very kind of like dry, it depends on the season, but I have very dry skin in the winter, and then in the summer it's pretty much normal to dry. I have sensitive skin as well. I have had eczema on my face, all over my face during certain phases of my life. I discovered I am allergic to perfume, and that has been a game changer for me. So if you're kind of like looking for the thing that works for you, it's always a good idea to look at ingredients and kind of see like what your skin responds to, and also just don't throw everything together. Don't change your whole skincare routine all at once, but just introduce product by product, look at the ingredients, see how you respond. Also, coconut breaks me out, so that is something that I always keep in mind. And I'm just always very aware of what I put on my skin and try to keep it really mild and simple and basic. And also something that really changed the game for me was no longer using like Western SPFs. I now only use a Korean SPF, and that is just such a difference for me, because Western SPFs, they really irritate my skin and they really like give me rashes. So that is kind of like what I'm personally watching out for. If I don't irritate my skin, it's gonna look kind of like what it is looking like right now. I have a pretty good like skin like day, week. It's been going pretty well. So my goal is always just to not irritate and not get any eczema flare up or anything like that. So what I do, and this just changed a little bit, I do sometimes get a little bit more lazy, a little bit less lazy. What I've been doing lately as my nighttime routine is a combination of these to remove makeup. I do have to say that I'm often lazy and just use micellar water. I know it's not the best thing to do, but I just don't always want to like hop in the shower to wash my face, because we don't have the greatest water quality and we have a filter in the shower. So for me, that's kind of like the only place I will wash my face. So sometimes I will be lazy and just use micellar water. I use the Garnier one because it doesn't irritate my skin, and I also use the one that doesn't have any perfume in it. Then this one is the like cleanser that I use. This is the Ginseng Cleansing Oil by Beauty of Your Sun, and this one is an oil, but it's not heavy. It is not greasy feeling. It does take off my makeup. It's very soft, it's very gentle, and I just feel like this combination works really well for me. And then at night, I will often, now in the summer, now that my skin is a little bit less dry, I will often use the Revive Eye Serum Ginseng and Retinol by Beauty of Your Sun as well. This one isn't really hydrating, but I just feel like when I use this on its own on my skin, it's just such a huge effect. Like it really makes sure that this thing is working for me, like the active ingredients in here are working for me, and I just feel like I wake up with smoother, more even skin, and I feel like it has really made a difference with my forehead lines. You can of course apply this and let this sit and then apply a cream on top. I just feel like I've been really enjoying just how this works for my skin, and I just don't feel like my skin has been that dry. And this one is a retinol, so it's not a retinol, it's a retinol, and I've read up on this ingredient a little bit, and retinol is a type of ingredient that does very similar things to retinol, but it is not as much a ingredient where you really have to make sure your skin gets used to it, and it's just a little bit less irritating, but it does work well, like it does work fast. I'm really enjoying this one. I'm really liking this. This is like my third tube of this, and I'm just really like, I stick to the same things. I keep it mild, I keep it basic. Like, this is just the only thing that I've been wearing at night. I do change it up a little bit, but not often. And also when I try something new, that's the only thing that I change. Like this one, this I've been using for years and years and years. If I want a little bit more of an hydration boost, I will use this one. This is the 6 Peptide Skin Booster Serum, Hyaluronic Acid, NAG, and Amino Acids by Cosrx. And this is a serum. I use multiple layers of this when I use it, and I use it under my day cream, under my night cream. I haven't really been using it now, but this one is almost empty. I don't really use it as much now because my skin is less dry. It's been going pretty well. And I just combine these things with a pretty basic moisturizer for day and night. And one that I've been really enjoying is the oil-free ultra moisturizing lotion with birch sap from Cosrx as well. I just really enjoy this brand. And this one is a new one. I don't know where my other one went, but that one I'm almost done with. And I think this is like my third one. And this is what this one looks like. This one is just super basic, thin, it's not oily, it's not greasy. It actually, I think, is more of a product for when you have more oily skin or you don't like a very heavy cream. It is just so nice and basic. I layer it up a little bit. Like, I've also been using this one when my skin is really dry. This is a Revolution Super Base Vitamin Base Primer. This is very oily. Like, it's not leaving a greasy, oily layer on the skin, but it is very like hydrating. It's a thicker cream, it's a richer cream, and this one is really nice for if you just want something super basic, super like thin, something that isn't gonna leave a layer on the skin, and something that combines really well with, for example, a serum like that, like the peptide booster. I just feel like this combination is great. So this is kind of like what I do for evening out my skin tone, and the other ones are more what I use for hydration and then to protect my skin from the sun. I have been using these since I first tried it, and this has just changed the game for me. This is the Burrito Daily Soft Touch Sunscreen Outdoor Defense 5 Ceramides. And I will also put these products in the description box if you want to just read up on them, see what the ingredients are. But this one is just very soft. It's an SPF 50, it's very soft, it's a little bit hydrating. I don't feel like it's too heavy, it doesn't burn my skin, it doesn't burn my eyes. I feel like this is great. It's just a little bit on the shiny side sometimes, so I have to sometimes take away a little bit of the shine, but it's minimal for me. This is just one of the few SPFs that hasn't irritated my skin, and I sometimes also just use this on its own, kind of like as my moisturizer. Like, if I am lazy, and I sometimes am, if I'm lazy, I will just put this on my skin. Like, I will at least put this on my skin when I go outside. And yeah, this just works great for me. It is just the product that made me believe in wearing daily SPF again, because before this, I was just like, how is this gonna work if it's such a thick and sticky layer? And this is just not thick and sticky, and it also doesn't have a white cast, which I also always had a problem with. I don't want a white cast. I know it's not gonna look as apparent on me as someone with a deeper skin tone, but it's just not something that I want. I just want it to be barely visible. I don't want it to be something that I feel or see on my skin, and that is this one. So I'm really happy with like the pretty basic skincare routine that I have here in front of me, and it works really well for me. And if you have really sensitive skin, these might be products that you'd like to check out. But of course, everything is different for everyone. That is also why I wasn't jumping on the opportunity to share my skincare routine, because I do feel like different skincare products just work differently on different people. But I hope this is helpful for you in some way. And I also thought, okay, let's just do this barefaced to be on theme. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this question. Okay, next one. Hey Marley, what dream vacation destinations are on your bucket list and why? If money was no object, maybe top 3. So I do want to go outside of Europe at some point. I think I would maybe want to go to New Zealand and go to where the Lord of the Rings was filmed. I could see myself going to like Asia, but I'm not sure what I would do. Maybe Japan? Maybe China. I could see myself doing that. And I'd like to go to Italy again, but that wouldn't be super expensive or super hard to do, but I think I would like to do that. But I think for me, New Zealand is kind of like the almost unattainable like dream vacation, the thing that I will probably do sometime in my life, but is gonna be quite expensive and quite a like time commitment. But I would love to go to New Zealand at some point. Okay, we have another question that was kind of similar to the other question. This is, if you set up your own makeup brand, what product would you release first? What would it be like? So it would be just like that super smooth, glowy highlighter blush hybrid baked product, kind of like the baked blushes from Kiko from the summer collections, but maybe even a little bit more sheer and a little bit more buildable and just very glowy and glossy and giving kind of like that glass skin effect without actually being like a cream or being sticky. Then, what are some of your favorite things besides makeup products? Lifestyle items, accessories, foods, TV, self-care rituals, etc. So I love dresses. I love earrings. Those are really my obsessions right now. I love sandals. Like, I don't know, I do buy quite a lot of sandals. I just love wearing sandals in the summer. There's so much I could say to this. Foods. I love sushi. I love Korean cuisine, like Korean fried chicken. I love poke bowls. I do love burgers and fries. I love a lot of different foods. I love berries so much. I eat a lot of berries in the summer. I just really love a lot of Asian food, but I also love Mexican food, like good nachos. You can ask me to go for like Mexican food anytime. I don't eat it a lot. I also love noodle soup. It's just Mexican. I also love Indian and also just Asian food. Asian food is so good. In the summer, I also love to drink bubble tea from time to time, but honestly, the thing what I drink the most is tea. And I love loose leaf tea. I never drink like tea bags. I always go and get different loose leaf teas and I just have them with a little like, how do you call it? Like a sifter? Is it called a sifter? I just put it in there, put that in the tea and just I drink it all day long. I love it. And I also like ice cream, getting like Italian ice cream. Like I do enjoy my food. I do enjoy it. TV right now, it's not really what I'm focusing on. I feel like I've been pretty busy with other things. I don't watch a lot of TV. My boyfriend and I, we've been gaming a lot. Especially like retro games from his youth. I didn't game as much as a child, but he did, and we've been gaming a lot. Of course, I love my cat. My cat is my baby. I love him so much. What can I say? I love my computer. Since I gotten a actual desktop computer, my life has become much more easy, and I even upgraded to a better computer because I had my boyfriend's old computer. Then I bought like a customized one for editing and everything that I was doing, and I love it so much. I could not imagine. I know I am very, very happy that I don't have to edit on a laptop. I know it's possible. I know that people do it, but I'm very happy with my desktop computer. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Someone asked, and I'm really curious about how you sort out all of your makeup products. It's obvious you've got a huge amount of them. I don't really know how to interpret this question. For what I'm reviewing, I have a basket where I put things that I am not testing yet, that I haven't put on my face just yet. Then I have a basket of things that I am in the process of testing, and then I have a basket of things that I'm done testing. And then in the drawers behind me, I have a drawer where I put highlight, bronzer and blush. I have a drawer where I put all of my eyeshadow palettes, and then I have a drawer where I have my lipsticks, my face products, perfumes, a bunch of hair products. So it's a little bit chaotic. I also have some things that I use a lot here in front of me. Brushes, mascaras, eyeliners, things like that. I just like to grab right in front of me. It's a little chaotic, I admit. But I feel like for now, like this is good enough. Just having like designated places for the things that are currently in my collection. And just have kind of like this flow of products going from not tried yet to being ready to review. And then we have another question. What is your boyfriend's name and what does he do for a living? I never seem to hear him in the background anymore. Is he just really quiet now, or do you film while he's out? So his name is Nico. He is also in IT, but he does something slightly different from me. He's a technical application administrator, which means he is also a little bit more into the technical part of the IT systems. You also have a more functional part. It is more about the use of the systems, and what he does is more about, are these systems even working? And he used to always be in the same room as I was when I was filming. He had to be really quiet. He couldn't do much. Like, you could hear it. Like, it was a studio apartment. We didn't have any rooms. He was just behind kind of like this wall, but it wasn't really, it was a wall, but it was just open at the sides, and it was open at the top. And every time I filmed, I asked him like, hey, be quiet for a little bit, I have to film. So I didn't film as many videos usually. And then when he was maybe like out of town for a weekend, I would film a lot. And now we are living in a house. We bought a house. He has his own office space. It is above me, so he is not like sitting in the same room. He's not even sitting on the same floor in the house. So sometimes he walks past on the stairs, but it's not really something you will still be able to hear in the videos. So it's really, the living situation has changed. He doesn't have to step out. He doesn't have to really be quiet. Like, sometimes I do ask him to not play too loudly with the cat. He gets really into that. But yeah, it's just way easier now to film while he's all... Alright, had to change my battery, but I was saying it's way easier now to film while he's also home, because there are just doors and a whole like floor between us and not just one wall. And he's like 1.5 meters away from me. And next question, have you ever tried Primark Beauty? If not, can you try it and make a review? So I actually have tried a few things from Primark Beauty in the past, like a really long time ago, like 10 years ago. The thing with Primark Beauty, I've been into Primark and I have looked at the makeup. Usually most of it is like opened and touched and it's really like gross. So usually I'm like, okay, am I gonna do this? Am I gonna try and find a product that actually isn't touched yet? This could be something that I do in the future, but there are a lot of brands on my list, and there are a lot of brands on my list that I kind of always review on my channel, and the list is growing. So I don't know if I will do this very soon. There are still a lot of brands that I want to try, and I just feel like if I review Primark Beauty, will you be able to find it, or will everything at your Primark also be opened and gross and just all of the makeup all over? It's not my favorite way to shop for makeup, and I don't ever really see myself reviewing Primark Beauty. Like, it could definitely be. I will have a look. There are also other brands that I think I'm gonna review first. I usually do a new brand like once in a while, but let me know if you're watching this video and you think, okay, I really want to see a Primark Beauty review. I could of course be convinced if you're excited about this. I have never made a video about them. It could be something that I do if you tell me like, okay, we really want to see it. I could get into that because I have enjoyed the products that I've tried from Primark Beauty in the past. Then we have the question, have you ever considered doing vlogs? No, I actually have not considered doing vlogs, and the reason is that I just don't think that my life is very interesting, or I don't really know how to make a vlog for you entertaining, and I don't really know if anyone would want to see it. I just have a pretty boring life. I love my boring life. I love this drama-free, chill, just structured type of life that I have going on. There's just not a lot of change, there's not a lot happening. I don't go to any events. Like, I could imagine myself vlogging if I would go to like influencer events, for example, but that's not the stage of this whole thing that I'm in. I just mostly film and sit behind the computer and then go for a walk and just cook my dinner and then maybe go to like Amsterdam for a day, or like go to some other city and just hang around and like eat some nice foods. I just don't think that's interesting enough. I could maybe see myself doing it at some point, just whenever there's something really interesting going on. Like, maybe I have a day where I just know like this is gonna be fun to film. But I don't know, I kind of also feel like that a lot of the time when beauty YouTubers get into vlogging a bit as well, the vlogs don't perform as well. So then I would probably do like another channel, a second channel. But I don't know, I haven't really thought about it that much, because honestly I don't really think I'm in that like phase right now. But let me know if that is something you'd want to see. Like, would you enjoy maybe watching my vlogs? Of course you haven't seen a vlog from me yet, but would you maybe want to see that? And okay, we have this one again. What kind of work do you do besides YouTube? So I already answered that. And then, tell us please your secret recipe of being so wholesome, nice, and cheerful. Thanks so much. Like, that is really nice. That really made me smile. I think it's so sweet, and I think that overall just the comments on my videos are so positive and so sweet, and I really enjoy reading my comments, and this was just once again just very, very sweet. I just think this is a really positive community. I try to keep it that way. I just try to keep my videos like positive and just fun and light. Like, and I don't want to make them too heavy or like heavily leaning on the drama. That's just what I'm trying to go for. This is what I want to do with my channel, and I have decided that for myself, that I don't want to like insert drama into this. Okay, I think I had one more question, and I hope I can find it, because it was under my buy or skip video, because I did ask you once again there if you had missed this prompt, if you wanted to ask another question. All right. Oh wait, I totally forgot. I do read sometimes. Like, one of my hobbies is also reading, but it kind of depends. Like, sometimes I read like 3 books in a row, and then for a month I don't read anything at all. I used to read a lot when I was a kid, now a little bit less. And this question says, I already attached 2 questions on your post, but I could probably easily add a few more. Like, what is your favorite book genre? Romance, nonfiction, true crime, travel, horror, biographies, history, etc. I like romance. It can be contemporary, it can be fantasy, and I like fantasy, and that can be like true fantasy or fantasy with a little bit of a romance angle to it, or romantasy. So that is usually what I read. I do like a little bit of romance in my books. It's just what I enjoy. I could enjoy a book that doesn't have any romance at all, but usually I do enjoy when there's just a little bit of the tension in there. Like, I do love reading about that. So that was the last question. I feel like I've been sitting here for such a long time. And also, I'm gonna feel like I didn't answer these properly. I never feel like that. I just always feel like I could say much more. Oh yeah, by the way, the treasures, the hidden treasures of the Netherlands. I think there is actually great food in the Netherlands. I am a huge foodie. I go on vacations to eat good food. I always see like videos of people saying that they come to the Netherlands and they hate Dutch cuisine. I get it when you're talking about like the potatoes and the meat and the vegetables. Like, there's a lot of Dutch food that is just mediocre at best. I don't really love it. It's like the traditional Dutch food, but I think what the Dutch are really good at are snacks. Just snacks, ice cream, just little things to get on the go, nice cute coffee shops. I just feel like there's so much to do when it comes to that. And it's more of an overall thing. It's not really that I can tell you like, okay, if you're in that city, go there. Of course, I have my favorite spots. And I just feel like in bigger cities like Rotterdam, Utrecht, or Amsterdam, there's just so much different types of food, so many different restaurants. If you go to the Netherlands, I would get snacks, but not really from like the tourist attractions. Like, you have stroopwafels, how like the tourists say it, but it's like stroopwafel. You have them in the Amsterdam city center for like 12, 13 euros, and they are not even fresh. And I know there are a lot of videos about this, but these are the types of things. You go a little bit outside of the city center, you go to a market and you grab these things where the locals grab them. Just the snacks that the Dutch do, like pancakes, poffertjes, croquettes, like the fried food, I feel like is so good. The fries are so good. Don't go for dinner in a typical Dutch restaurant, then just go for like the Asian food. There's such good Asian food here in the Netherlands. I love Takumi, which is a chain that started, I believe, in Düsseldorf in Germany. I love it so much. They do really good soups there. But there's also a lot of great Korean fried chicken here in the Netherlands. I feel like the food here is so good because there are so many different like kitchens that you can choose from that are done really well. There's also a lot of great Mexican food in the Netherlands. I just don't feel like the Netherlands deserves the hate. And also, when you go to the Netherlands, don't just go to the city center, because there are great places where there's like a huge beautiful castle with a moat around it and then beautiful like forests. And you won't see that when you go to Amsterdam, you won't see that when you go to Rotterdam. You have to take the train, you have to take the car. Like, find a beautiful castle. Usually you can just go in, it's a museum, and then like do a little bit of a walk around it in the neighboring area. I feel like that's so like typically Dutch, something that tourists never see, and I really love it. I love a beautiful castle, and usually you can go for a drink there or somewhere close and you have like this view of the castle, and it's so cool. I love castles, okay? I love it. Okay, so while I was editing this video, and because I was gonna sit down to film some additions anyway, I thought, okay, let's add something here as well. So I was thinking about these things that are really like hidden treasures for me, and I feel like because I was talking about castles and like walking around in nature around the castles, I think I have to tell you about the place where I often go, like maybe once a year. It's not that often, it's not like around the corner from me where I live anymore. Didn't used to be, but it used to be a bit closer. So we have near Eindhoven, and that is where I originally come from. It's where I was born. Eindhoven is not a very interesting city to visit, but there is in the neighborhood Kasteelhoeve Geldrop, and there they have, by the way, I will link this down below as well. And there they have this kind of like tea garden. It's in the castle gardens. It's beautiful in like a spring summer. You can go like walk through the gardens. They have beautiful flowers. There are butterflies there. Take a camera, take some beautiful pictures. Just all very beautiful, gorgeous. And there they have a high tea, and a high tea is just something I love doing that once in a while. And they have just a really nice high tea in the garden. They have a lot of like weddings there, baby showers, things like that. And I just go there like maybe once a year to have a high tea. They have really nice tea. I do know that the tea that they used to have, that brand, has changed a little bit, so I'm going this year again at some point. We'll see how things have changed, but the food is really nice. They also have a nice soup and then some sandwiches and then some nice like sweets and desserts, so I really like it there. But it's a very specific thing, and it's not the type of thing where I would say like if you are spending a weekend in Amsterdam, like go hop on a train all the way to Geldrop. I think that doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe if you're in the Netherlands, I do know that I have a lot of Dutch followers, or maybe if you're close by doing something else, this is a really nice place to sit for a few hours and have a really nice high tea. Okay, now I'm gonna stop talking. Okay, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna end the video here. I feel like this is gonna be like an hour long of me just talking about myself, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I answered your questions. If you have any more questions, like questions about the questions about my answer, let me know. I just feel like I'm so used to talking about makeup and talking about beauty and talking about products that if I have to kind of like switch the topic to like talking about me and my life, it's a little bit more difficult. Like this is the only moment, like me talking to you is the only moment, the only time in my life that I actually speak English. But I'm gonna end it here. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for sending in questions, and you made this video possible. And then I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.